Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. All right. So we are in lesson 5, retrieving and proofing your worksheet. So this lesson is a little different in that the spreadsheet that you're getting is already pre-populated. I went ahead and took the time to just kind of create most of what you need, and then you have to type in some new information and format it, and you're going to learn a little bit about spell check and using the thesaurus, which is kind of cool. All right, so again, we're going to follow the instructions. We're going to revise, rename, and save an existing worksheet. Use spell check and the thesaurus. Change the page orientation and adjust page scrolling or scaling. Actually, we're not going to do that last part simply because it's just, since we're not printing, page scaling is not really useful. But basically, if we were printing out these worksheets and we have a lot of information, you need to make sure that all of your information, if necessary, is going to fit onto one page. But we'll learn more about print formatting when we get back into the classroom. All right. So here are your documents. You're going to open up your sheet. It's going to look something like this. Remember, we had frozen the panes, so the information was frozen here. Well, why did we do that? It doesn't seem very useful yet. But what we're going to be doing is adding more information. So the first thing is open it up. Second, save the workbook as Best Books 2. So you're going to change the name of this, and the way to do that is simply go up here. You can retype it or just add the number 2, which is kind of cool. All right, so we're at Best Books 2. It's automatically saved it. Now you've got a copy. The original one still exists as Best Books, but now you have, just by changing the name, you have saved a second copy. All right. In the sheet named as in the sheet named book and author, this is the sheet, type the new data as shown in columns G through J in figure 5. So if we look at figure 5, which is on the next page, move my head, you can see that all of this information gets to be typed in, which is great. Okay, so I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna go ahead and type in that information, and then we're gonna explore spelling and thesaurus tools. Okay, and now our frozen pane feature actually becomes a very useful thing to have because we have more information that can fit on the screen at any given time. So I typed this in. I also formatted the columns so that they're the appropriate width. Make sure you do that so that none of the information is cut off. Okay, and then let's go back to our page here of information, of instructions. All right, so use spell check to review the spelling of the text in your spreadsheet and correct any errors. So, I guess that's in tools, spelling, spell check. And notice it is going through a lot of the names that are not in the dictionary. So we're going to ignore that. And then there's no other spelling suggestions. So typically when you're typing things in, if you misspell something like NY prob or school, well, actually, since there's the NY there, it's not going to catch you. So maybe, yeah, for some reason I thought it did that automatically. So let's just see. I guess spell check. Okay, it's noticing that as a problem, so I could change that. Another thing you might be able to do is, let's try that again and see tools, spelling, notification rules, right? No, that has nothing to do with it. Sorry. Okay. So spell check. Make sure you spell check. I have noticed in a lot of your spreadsheets that some of you are mistyping. And so it's just an easy thing at the very end to go through the tools, go to spelling, do spell check. And notice that I said ignore. So anytime when it spell checked those names that didn't show up in the dictionary, when I spell check again, it's not showing, they're not showing up again. Because I've told it to ignore that. All right. So that is the spelling of the text. Okay, now we're going to use the thesaurus. So it says select J4 and use the thesaurus to find an alternative word for the one provided. So the word in J4 is brilliant. Something they say a lot in England. So I'm going to pause right there, and because and actually just pause. Okay. So a little glitch here. It turns out that Google Sheets does not have a thesaurus. By the way, what is a thesaurus? This is one of my favorite books in the world. It is a thesaurus, and basically it is a list of words that are synonyms to other words. I absolutely love this book. It really makes for a rich vocabulary, and I don't know, it just stirs the mind. But anyway, there are online thesaurus, or thesauri, that are available, and Microsoft has a thesaurus built into all of its products, but Google Docs does not. Google Docs might, when you're writing essays, you might be able to. I'm sure that they have a thesaurus in the word processing Google Docs, but not in the spreadsheet, which is kind of unfortunate. So what I did was I went ahead and I created a spreadsheet and just copied the content into Microsoft Excel so that you could see where that might exist if you were working in Excel. So in Excel, same spreadsheet, just a different program. We've got frozen panes just like we did in Google Sheets. It looks nicer. I actually really like Excel much more than I like Google Docs, but I had to stick with something that you all had. So, all right. And then if I want to use the thesaurus, what I would do is I go up to the tab here called Review. And there's, it says Proofing for proofreading. And I've already selected the word that I want to proofread. So I'm going to press thesaurus. And what's cool is you get all of these words that are synonyms for the word brilliant. Vivid, bright, clear, intense, dazzling, excellent, wonderful. So basically you choose one of these. I like dazzling. And I would just go ahead and check it. Oh, dazzling. And mesmerizing. Whoa, I like that too. Spellbinding. And then how you go ahead and copy and paste that, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe you do something like this. I've actually never used it before. But fascinating. Enthralling. Mesmerizing. Anyway, I can get lost in the thesaurus really quickly. But basically that would be a way to use more of a unique vocabulary when you're proofreading your work, the content of your work. But so since this is not in a feature of Google Sheets, I'm not going to require it. So even though it's in the rubric, I'll either try to modify the rubric or I'll give those points as extra credit. If you want to change the names, you can, or the words, you can. If you want to hunt down an online thesaurus and do that, that might be fun if you're bored. But it's not a requirement. Okay, that's it for this today. So now I need to figure out how to turn this off.